Cool. Hey, welcome to the Anatomy of Therapy. We got a special episode today. I'm going to give Bobby 20 questions. He knows some of them he doesn't. But let's get to know Dr. Riley, yeah? What's your name? Where are you from?
Well, in the U.S., I'm a doctor, but over here in Europe, it's just Bobby.
Okay, Bob. Got it.
I grew up in Arizona, but I'm currently living and working in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Got it. What is one thing you wish you knew when you started your career?
Yeah, this was a tough one. I wish I knew more about what was available, what was out there for me to learn, because I think early on I got stuck in a rut of not like the days were exhausting, but a rut of, okay, I think I know what to do, and this is all I can do to help people based on my internships and stuff like that. And I wish I would have known other ways of thinking and what other people know out there in the world. And I think I would have found the passion or the drive a little bit earlier on.
What is something clinically that you previously believed to be true, but have since changed your mind on?
Yeah, I think in the beginning I was more, everything had to be backed by research. I'm very rational minded in general, like in all my thinking. So for me in the beginning, is like if it didn't have evidence, then I was kind of not sure that I could trust that person or that way of thinking. And now I've kind of realized we are always behind the curve of research, and research is also flawed. So you take the research as best you can, but the pragmatic, or what we say, the anecdotal experience that you gain over time matters, and don't let anybody tell you it doesn't.
True. This is a tough one here. What is something you believe to be true that very few others would agree with you on? This is from Peter Thiel.
Yes, I think John knows this one, what I'm going to say maybe. I don't really think we have much control over ourselves at all. I think we are a byproduct of biochemistry and neurology and a bunch of interactions in the brain that we don't control. And this goes to the notion of free will. You know, it comes from many authors before, more formal contemporaries now, like Sam Harris, that talk about the illusion of free will. But it doesn't mean you can't learn that and then decide that you are going to be somebody that's a witness and is more observant and more mindful of what your biology wants you to do, and then you make actions and choices based off of that.
What person, book, or film changed your life?
My older brother, when I was maybe 10 years old, gave me a book called The Child Called It, or A Child Called It, by Dave Peltzer. And I had read a little bit before that, but when I read that book, we were traveling in a car across the U.S., and I looked down to start it, and I never looked up till the book was done. I don't remember Colorado. And and ever since then, and the book was amazing, and it's a terrible true story of child abuse, but for me, it showed me the impact of what reading could do for me in my mind and how excited I was to grab the next book. And man, the next 10 years were just a blur of books, and I still am kind of a voracious reader today.
That's awesome. If you could have your own billboard, what would it say?
At first, I thought it would say just "read!" exclamation point, but then it reminded me of the Mark Twain quote, which is something like, "The person who does not read has no advantage over the person who cannot read." So I'd probably put that up there because I can't say it better than Mark Twain. So
there you go. Dinner with anyone dead or alive, who would it be?
I would have to say Christopher Hitchens. The religious folk out there might not like me, but it's not so much for that. Before, people don't know that he was an amazing journalist and world traveler and knew more history, than most historians know. So it would definitely be scotch and some type of meal with Hitch.
That'd be awesome. Rest in peace. If you weren't a clinician, what would you be doing?
I think I would be combining some type of activity with writing. I think writing really takes true commitment, just like being a good clinician. You have to write and write and write, and you're going to have a bunch of terrible work. I think I could dedicate myself to the craft of writing if I didn't also love this clinical stuff. I would probably focus on that and maybe pair an activity with it, with like marine biology, so I could scuba dive and then write about it or something.
Well, that's perfect. The next question is, where have you traveled?
I've traveled to maybe around 60 countries.
Good.
I have not been to much of Africa or much of South America. I have not been to Antarctica, so I have places to go still.
Okay, geez. Most memorable athletic accomplishment?
My sophomore year of university, it was shot put. I was a shot put and discus thrower, but this was indoor national championships, so there's only shot put, and you get 6 throws total, and this was the 6th throw, and I was not in first place at the time, and I had never won before, and I did my spin but slipped and almost fell, caught myself and started over. And usually when that happens, the person has a terrible throw afterwards, but I reset within the time limit before my flag went down, and I threw and won the national championship with that last throw. So
Woo!
yeah.
Nice, dude. What do you admire most in others?
Definitely easy one for me has to be intelligent or just good conversation. Just the person has to have something to say that is worth hearing, and it could be on any topic, really. I'm not saying it has to be something I'm interested in, but if they have a depth of knowledge that comes out when they speak about it, I would want to talk to any of those people.
Man, that reminds me of my favorite Benjamin Franklin quote. He says, either do something worth writing about or write something worth reading. Anyways, what is your first major clinical insight once in practice?
Maybe that resolving somebody's pain is not the same thing as resolving their issue would probably be it. A lot of the stuff I did in the beginning was mainly passive modalities where people feel really good. And often I believe when those people stop coming back, it may not be because you fixed their issue. It's because they were good for a while, then they realized you didn't fix their issue and they went somewhere else.
Fair. What's your most recent clinical insight?
I couldn't think of something concrete, but I would have to be around scapulas. Just the importance of the scapula, the position of the scapula, and its impacts on, almost everything. And before I thought it was, just elevated and depressed, in the past. So
we're going to have to talk more about that for sure. What is your dream automobile?
Well, I hate to be cocky on this one, but I kind of have it. I have a Land Rover Defender, modified for Iceland, so it's on bigger tires. I might take an old series Land Rover if I could really trade it in for something mint in the past. So I would give a different answer that's with a car. I would probably go with the Nissan GTR just to balance out the 4x4.
Okay. Nice. You're living your dream, man. I love it. What book or author do you recommend the most? It could be clinical or non-clinical.
I would recommend Free Will by Sam Harris.
There you go. Okay. Any current advice to current PT or chiro students? Physio students?
Ooh, I think this goes back to my original answer about coming out of, starting practice myself. I would just say be open-minded and be patient and learn what's out there before you pigeonhole yourself into one path and you think that that's the only path you could ever walk down.
Favorite movie as a child?
It has to be Home Alone. The first Home Alone, obviously.
Of course. Okay. Favorite food? Favorite dish? Favorite snack? Go. Last question. Favorite food? Favorite dish? Favorite snack? And then we're done. You got it.
My favorite food is definitely Georgian food, and not from the state Georgia, but from the country Georgia. My favorite snack has probably got to be peanut M&Ms. And What's the last one?
Favorite dish. Favorite dish, like
dish.
Meal. Favorite dish or meal.
Satellite. Let's see. I don't know. Alaskan king crab.
Woo! Okay, we did it.